Assalamu alaikum, welcome back to my YouTube channel. In this video, I will discuss morphological and syntactic features of Pakistani English. Discussed earlier in my last video, variety A or the Anglicized English is related to the native-like competence, and Pakistani English Anglicized variety is identical to the British English. When we talk about morphological or syntactic feature, these are similar to the British English. B. Variety B is the acrolect. Acrolect is the standard form of English language. There are the following characteristics. First one is the omission of definite article. When we talk about definite article, it is related to the when we use the omission, when we use omit the definite article. Okay, for example, in Pakistani English, here is a not sign which shows that there is the missing of the definite article. Government has denied itself the privilege. Okay, here is the government is the missing in this sentence. In the second characteristics of acrolect or the morphological feature, the use of progressive aspect means Pakistani English or the Pakistani English speaker use I and G or the progressive aspect with the habitual and completed action and certain stative verb. Some words are stative like and but when we use it it shows the progressive aspect. For example, in British English it is where have you come from, but in Indian or Pakistani English it is used as where are you coming from. Okay, the third characteristic is the differences in the complementation with certain verbs and adjectives. Okay, there are the few examples. First feature that adjective complementation by an ing participle clause is made up of the adjective plus an optional preposition plus a participle clause gerund in British English. Okay, here is the example. The government has not succeeded in reducing the problems of people, but in Pakistani English, the adjective is frequently followed by to infinitive. For example, anti-Islamic forces are busy to create differences among Muslims. Here is the example to create differences. There is a difference between the adjective complementation by ing and that is followed by to participle to infinitive in Pakistani English. Okay, fourth characteristics is the auxiliaries would or could are used for will and can. In British English, they use will in and Pakistani English use would. For example, English will gain still firmer roots, but in Pakistani English we will use this sentence. English would gain still firmer roots in every department. Okay, fifth characteristics the difference in the use of preposition means we use preposition differently. In British English, for example, what is the time by your watch? When we use this same sentence, we will use what is the time in your watch. Okay, differences in count and mass noun distinction. In British English, we use aircraft, but in Pakistani English, we use s. In British English, we use fruit, but in Pakistani English, we use fruits. Seventh characteristics of morphological syntactic feature is the reflexive pronoun is omitted in reflexive verbs for enjoy and exert. Meaning, Pakistani English we use enjoy yourself. In Pakistani English, enjoy is used for enjoy yourself. Reflexive pronoun means yourself is used in Pakistani English. Okay, variety C. The mesolect. Mesolect is the medium or that create the relationship between acrolect and basilect. Okay, in addition to all differences that we have discussed earlier in variety B, the following differences were also noted in this category, in this variety. First is the use of progressive aspect with verbs which are concerned stative in British English. For example, these are the words are the stative verb. Uh, Pakistani English. I am seeing the sky from high. Here you can see is a stative verb, but we use ing. Differences in reporting indirect speech. In Pakistani English speakers use differently and they use indirect speech differently. Okay, British English, they use the sentence of indirect speech. He told me that he would come today, but in Pakistani English speaker uses the word he told me that I would come today as in the casual speech. Okay, only one tag question, isn't it? Mean Pakistani speaker use only one tag question. You are ill, for example, isn't it? Okay, there is no subject verb inversion in direct questions, and the use of such inversion is indirect question. For example, in British English, speaker uses the sentence I asked him where he is. Mean he use he first and then is. But in Pakistani English, speaker uses the sentence I asked him where is he. Means he uses the helping verb or um, question form and where is he interrogative form first, and that is the different from British English and Pakistani English. The omission of the dummy auxiliary do, does, did means Pakistani English speakers omit the word do, does, or did. For example, British English speaker uses how did you get here, but in Pakistani English speaker uses the word sentence how you got here. Means he omit did, do, or does. Lack of agreement of the verb with the subject means there is a lack of the agreement of the verb with the subject. For example, he always go there means they use s or yes, but when we talk about Pakistani English, they didn't speakers didn't use the word s or yes with the helping verb. He always go there, as in the casual speech they use the word he always go there. They didn't use as or yes. Yes, no questions are answered differently from British English. Means British English they answer differently, and in Pakistani English they answer differently. For example, British English question that is, I hope you wouldn't mind looking after my cat. But British English speaker replied, no, I wouldn't. But Pakistani English speaker replies, yes, I wouldn't. Means I wouldn't mind. The use of perfective aspect instead of the simple past with the past time adverbs means Pakistani English speakers use the present perfect form more as compared to the past tense. Pakistani English speakers use I have seen him yesterday. They are using yesterday, as well as speaker use present perfect tense. And British speaker says like that I saw him yesterday. Ninth characteristics of morphological feature is the use of the present tense with the durational phrases indicating a period from past to present, where British English requires the present perfect. For example, he is studying Hindi since 1960 means here they are using a present continuous tense as well as they are mentioning the time. But in British English they will use, or the British speakers use the present perfect continuous tense. For example, he has been studying Hindi since 1960. The indefinite article may be omitted. For example, my father is a lecturer. But in Pakistani English, they will use my father is lecturer. Variety D, best select. There is no work in this on this variety of Pakistani English. In fact, it is difficult to justify the claim that this is a rule governed variety. According to this variety, the absence of the copula. Copula is relating to the linking verb or the auxiliary verb. that is missing in Pakistani English. For example, this Peshawar, very old city. Here is the missing of the helping verb or the linking verb. Lack of concordial agreement between subject and verb. Concordial agreement is related to the grammatical agreement. For example, nobody know how we works. Here we can see there is a lack of concordial agreement or grammatical agreement between subject and verb. Absence of verb in a sentence means the verb or the word that play any action that is missing. For example, red color, the big car means there is a missing of the verb. Fourth characteristics of bacillect is related to the absence of preposition. For example, in Pakistani English, there is a lot of mistakes in the using of preposition, and in Pakistani English speakers avoid or omit the preposition. For example, I went city. Here the preposition is missing. Fifth characteristics of bacillect variety is either omit article or add the definite article even before proper noun. For example, here is the sign that shows the omission of the definite article. The England is the or a. Here is the proper noun is missing. A good place. Okay, you can see we can use the or a, that is definite or indefinite article that is not specified in Pakistani English or in the bacillect variety. Six characteristics is the use of the tense hesitantly means they didn't know how we can use sentence properly or the tense properly. I didn't understood it. Here you can see we will use first form of verb after did. Okay, I didn't understand it, that is the wrong sentence, that is not pronounced well in Pakistani English. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you have any question, you can ask in the comment box, and you can read this whole chapter or the features of Pakistani English from Tariq Rahman book. I will share it in the description. You can easily read from there. Thank you so much.